To format, we'll go to Utilities, Disk Utility. Probably will take a second to load. I'm not sure how fast the CD drive I have is, so it might be really slow reading. Or this could be normal, I'm not sure. One or the other, but... On the left side we'll see disk 0S1. That's your primary partition. That's probably the one you installed Windows XP on. The one we're curious about is the disk 0S2, which is the second partition, the empty, non-mounted one. What we're going to do is we're going to choose it, go to Erase. We're going to change the volume format to the top one, the macOS Extended Journaled. We're going to name it appropriately, OS X, just to make things easy. If you want, you can do the secure erase free space options, security options, to make it so it writes 0-byte files to it, so it clearly wipes it. Or if you're like me and lazy, you just do erase, the non-secure way. And this will take about maybe a minute or two, not too long. And notice now on the left side it's actually not grayed out since it's mounted. And it is now going to be installable. So now we'll go to Disk Utility, Quit Disk Utility. Brings us back to our installer. We're going to keep going on. This will give you a little information about what's going on. It's actually in German. So we'll agree like always, because we like to. We'll choose that new OS X partition we installed, erased. Continue. We're going to click Customize to customize our installation. We're gonna, if you want language translations enabled, go right ahead. Me, I take them off, I don't need them. Kernels, we're going to change, be sure to select only one. For the MSI Wind we can do the vanilla. This allows us to run all native OS X applications. Basically, OS X thinks we are running Mac hardware. Graphic drivers, we have Intel on ours. We're going to use the 950 GMA 950. That's all we need there. Audio drivers, I do not believe we need any of these, but I always leave these two enabled just to have anyways. We can always come back and add more or remove them if we need to. Network drivers, I think the only one we need is the Realtek R1000. The other two we don't, all the rest we don't need wise. Wi-Fi, however, though, I always enable the top two to have. And mobile chipsets, I believe we do not need any of these either. Third-party applications, up to you. I personally choose them all, since they're very handy ones. We do want now we do any of that. Patches, I use hard-coded SM BIOS. I actually use the 27667 one, since the memory timings is 667 on it, since it's PC 5300 memory it uses, which is actually, or we can do a MacBook if we want to. I do the time machine fix. I also do the power management bundle, and I also do the Intel memory controller, since it is an Intel based chipset that's running, and of course no AMD stuff. Click done. Then click install. Alright, install succeeded. Let's reboot. So what just happened there basically is that OS X installed onto the second partition. Also what happened, which does behind the scenes actually, is that OS X makes itself the active partition, and in turn it's the, I think, the bootable partition too, so that's why people have problems booting into XP or Vista's bootloader after installing OS X. It actually overrides, it takes over the partition as being active. marks itself as active. So we're going to use the OS X bootloader. You'll see we have Windows, then we have OS X. So let's see if we can boot in. Then next we're on to Ubuntu 8.08 I think, or 4 maybe, I'm not sure exactly, but Ubuntu 8.0x. Again, the installs themselves, then the final thing you have to do is the customization fact. Do all the drivers, all the programs you want, do your preferences. I'm hoping if things turn out right that device drivers and everything are fine here. We'll see how our display looks. I'm thinking it's good probably. Audio works already. Okay, here we start Ubuntu 8.04 I think, install wizard. We'll quick run through this here to make sure we keep our operating systems all intact, all three of them. We'll just use our whatever city, New York sounds good for now. Just kind of doing the install at this point and not really worry about the details. For you doing it, you might want to know. This is the big part I think people go wrong with Ubuntu and double dual booting or triple booting. That is if they don't want their partitions wiped out. For the partition I do manual, that way it avoids bad things happening. What we'll do next is we'll click on the free space area. Above we'll see on SDA1, SDA2, that's XP and OS X, respectively. We'll do a new partition. Let's see here. If you want, we can do the full amount. We'll do primary to make it easy. We'll do XT3 journaling file system by default. Mount point I usually do on root. I don't know what. It's just what I do. Probably better ways of doing it. This is just kind of like to get you going styled. Again, partitioning is pretty quick and painless. Just gotta make sure you don't, blow away your XP or your OS X partition. So there we go. We see the partition now. We'll go forward and apply the changes. And we'll let Ubuntu do its install thing. It's going to warn us about a swap space. Later on, if you want, we can go back and add a swap file if you feel comfortable, but 2 gigs memory usually are pretty good with not having one. Me. I'm doing nothing. There we go. If you want, you can actually import your Windows install. What the heck, we got nothing, we'll import it anyways. Just shows how far Linux has come in the mainstream realm of the world. If you want, you got an advanced button, you can choose, which I recommend actually the advanced button, where it says option of bootloader, where it says make sure to check install bootloader, however change it to be dev SDA3, since 1 and 2 is XP and OS X, and the SDA is your disk MBR, I believe. We'll want to do just the partition, which is SDA3, which is the last one. Hope that made sense. Okay, and then do install. And I realized that is where I've gone wrong my OS X and Ubuntu mixture installs. Having Ubuntu overtake the MBR. I believe. I might be totally wrong in these acronyms. Okay, we have Ubuntu finally installed. We're about to reboot here and hopefully cross fingers and hope we still have environment where I can boot to each operating system. What we've done is try to keep each operating system's bootloader native on each partition. If that makes sense, hopefully. And hopefully it works here. We'll find out in a second.